Well, everyone, welcome back to Raccoon's Winter Fun-derland. And Twin Peaks is not a show that's directly connected with any particular holiday, but I love to watch Twin Peaks at any time of the year. But at this time of the year, Twin Peaks is especially a fun watch because, you know, there's lots of mountains and woods and ice and snow. You know, it's the same reason people like to watch Frozen around this time of the year. You know, or Frosty the Snowman. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the holiday season, but it's very seasonal to this time of the year. And this video is not talking about the show Twin Peaks and its impact not just on science fiction television, but on television itself, but on pop culture. This is not one of those videos talking about its impact, about how you can make references to Twin Peaks and someone not even familiar with the show will probably understand the reference. It has that great of a cultural impact in Western media, but this is not one of those videos. If you want to see one of those kinds of videos, look on YouTube, and there's tons of them, and they're very well done, okay? But this is not one of those videos. This is a video about the moments in Twin Peaks where I'm shaking my head with my mouth hanging open, saying, what the hell is going on? This is my list of my favorite top 11 what the fuck Twin Peaks moments. Okay, because I've wanted to make this list for a very long time. Because Twin Peaks has moments where you're just saying, what is going on? Because Twin Peaks, the horror of Twin Peaks is it understands the terrifying absurdity of life, where something can happen to you and one moment you're laughing your head off and the next you're crying and the next you're pooping your pants in fear. And this show perfectly encapsulates that feeling, and that's what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the top 11 most what the fuck Twin Peaks moments, starting at number 11 with the father-son talk between Major Briggs and his shit son Bobby prior to Laura Palmer's funeral. Now, all of the father-son talks between Major Briggs and his son are just laugh out loud hilarious, but this one is incredible. So this is right before Laura Palmer's funeral in season 1. I believe it's episode 4. And Major Briggs is trying to pump Bobby up and like say, hey, it's okay, son. You're going to be all right. We're all going to be here together at the funeral. It's going to be okay, like trying to comfort his son. And he gets to the part where he says, don't be afraid. And Bobby completely loses it. And he goes into one of his famous Bobby Briggs tantrum man-child rants. At one point he says, I'm going to turn this funeral upside down. Which I think is the most 18-year-old thing to say about a funeral ever. Moving on to number 10 is the thruple with Big Ed Hurley, Norma Jennings, and Nadine. So all through the show, and this particular moment takes place at the end of season 2, so towards the end of the show, there's this plot point we'll get to later where Nadine loses her memory, and she comes into the house that she shares with Ed, and she's starting to get her memory back at this point. And she stops at the bedroom door, and she looks in the bedroom, and Ed is in bed with Norma, and they're both having, you know, naked sexy times in bed. And instead of flipping out like you would expect Nadine to do, she just looks at them, kind of sighs and shrugs, and just climbs into bed with them. And it's kind of the show's way of saying to the fans and the audience, you know what, we've teased this enough. They're just going to be a throuple now. And I love that moment. There's nothing supernatural or spooky about it. It's just so like, what the hell is going on here? Okay. At number 9, I put the cream corn lady. So in season 2, Donna is trying to find Laura Palmer's diary, which will help in the investigation of her murder. And she comes upon this lady. I believe her name is Miss Tremont. And she brings in her plate from the R&R diner for the Meals on Wheels, and the old lady says, young lady, do you see cream corn on this plate? And Donna looks at the plate and she says, yes, I do. And the old lady recoils in a very bizarre and upsetting way, and she's like, cream corn. And again, nothing supernatural or really spooky about the scene. It's just so what the hell. Like, this old lady obviously has history with cream corn, and we never figure it out, which is, it reminds me of the chocolate guy on SpongeBob. And they come to his door, and they're like, "Sir, would you like to buy some chocolate?" And he just starts saying, "Chocolate, chocolate, chocolate." And that's how I see the cream corn lady. Okay. At number 8, we have Wyndham Earle's Pretentious Traps. And this is all of the traps, the quote traps Wyndham Earle sets for Dale Cooper. But there's one in the town gazebo in the town park by Pearl Lakes, and he turns it into a giant, I think, bishop chess piece. And Dale Cooper has to, like, do this complicated, like, rat trap puzzle, like rat maze puzzle before a dead guy pops out. And I just love Wyndham Earle's little pretentious traps, and they're made specifically to impress Dale Cooper. I'll make a whole video on Wyndham Earle and what I think is up with him and Caroline and Dale, but suffice to say that I believe, you know, Dale Cooper had an affair with Wyndham's wife Caroline, and instead of getting mad at Dale, Wyndham got mad at Caroline because he wanted Dale. So it's that old song and dance. Okay, number 7 is the weird ass dance in Ben Horne's office. So at the beginning of season 2, Leland Palmer thinks he's exorcised. He thinks he's killed his daughter's murderer, and he's feeling great. And he's like, "Hey boys, I'm back!" And he walks in Ben Horne's office, and Ben Horne and Jerry Horne and Leland Palmer just start doing this weird dance. It reminds me of one of those flash mob dances from the 2010s. And they just all start doing their little weird Harlem Shake dance on their own as Leland sings Little Lambs Eat Ivy. At one point, Jerry Horne gets down on the floor and does exactly one worm. Like, he can't commit to the whole dance. Ben Horne does a weird Michael Jackson moon dance on top of his desk. It's just one of those weird-ass moments in the show. And it's like the boys are back in town, okay? All right. Number 6 is Nadine's superpowers. At the beginning of season 2, Nadine tries to, full disclaimer, she tries to unalive herself at the beginning of season 2. And she wakes up from her coma thinking she's an 18-year-old cheerleader with super strength. And this is one of the things in the show. I don't think there's even any call for it to be in the plot, but it's just there. There's no reason she should have gotten super strength, but I'm just glad she did. At one point, she goes into the kitchen, and it's when she first gets home from the hospital, and you just hear a crash, and she comes out holding the refrigerator door by the handle, and she's like, "It came off." It's just such a great character avenue for Nadine to take. Number 5 is what I call the show must go on. And this is a two-way tie between the Twin Peaks Roadhouse Band and the youngest Hayward daughter. I think her name is Gertrudis. She's a little piano player, and she's very cute. So, for some context, no matter what happens at Twin Peaks, the Twin Peaks Roadhouse Band will keep playing their prog alternative Pink Floyd tribute music. Nothing. I'm talking demons, drug hustling conspiracies, Canadian gangsters. They don't care. The FBI, the CIA, they do not care. The DEA, the Roadhouse Band will keep singing. The show must go on. And the same is true for Gertrude Hayward. She wants to be part of the Twin Peaks Roadhouse Band, because when the Palmers come over to her family's house for dinner, and Leland Palmer keeps singing "Come On, Get Happy," and then he falls down in a demon possession fit in the middle of her piano solo, you think that young lady's gonna stop? Hell no. She's a Hayward. The show must go on. And number 4, I put the trio's horrible song. So, in season 2, everyone in Twin Peaks, every relationship has to have a buffer. It has to have a third wheel. I don't care what is going on. It has to be there. And for James and Donna, it is Laura's cousin Maddie. And at one point in season 2, they all get together and sing this terrible love song. It is so bad. You can go on YouTube and listen to it. James sings it in a weird falsetto that's obviously not his voice. I always expect the girls to like try to sing in like a lower key, but no, they just double down on that nails on the chalkboard falsetto key. I always expect Eileen Hayward upstairs just to yell, "Shut the fuck up!" Okay. Number 3 is Josie is a desk. And the only reason this is not at the top of the list is because the top 2 are so fucking crazy. So, at the end of season 2, David Lynch is like, we have to do something with Josie Packard, okay? She's kind of worn out her welcome and done her character arc and everything, and it's time for us to retire this character. And they're like, well, what should we do with her, Mr. Lynch? The writers say. And he's like, let's make her into a piece of furniture. And that's what happens. Dale Cooper goes to confront her at the beginning of season 2. And he corners her in her hotel room. And Josie just turns into a desk. She turns into a nightstand table at the Great Northern. And no one ever talks about it again. Number 2 is Laura Palmer's funeral. And again, the only reason this isn't at the top of the list is you'll see number 1. At Laura Palmer's funeral, they're lowering her down into the grave, and you get it like from her perspective, and you see her parents and her friends, and everyone's crying, and it's very sad. And then at one point, Leland Palmer leaps into the grave. He always reminds me of a small dog leaping out of a car. He's just like, huh. And Sarah Palmer, her reaction is, Leland, you're embarrassing me. Just the same way she always does, okay? So let's have some honorable mentions before we get to the number 1 spot. I put the Miss Twin Peaks pageant where they're all dancing. That's not on the list because it is part of a coherent plot point. But it's just so weird. And I love the girls. They're so into it. It's great. The kid in the hallway in the first episode and how he does his weird little, his weird little, like, wave dance. That's very nice. There's also a scene where Leland Palmer attacks Maddie. And he says, Maddie Ferguson, and he says, I'm sending you back to Missoula, Montana! Missoula, Montana! And he says it in such, it's like his battle cry, and it always cracks me up. I love the scene where the llama cock blocks Harry and Dale in the vet's office. It's just such a weird moment. Just like, here's a llama, and he snorts and he moves on. I love Bob's intro in, I think it's the first episode, and it like zooms in on Bob's face, and Sarah Palmer's freaking the hell out, and it's just a homeless man, and you're like, oh shit, that's crazy. And the number 1, what the fuck, Twin Peaks moment. Let's have it, guys. Drum roll. Is Ben Horn's weird-ass transformation in season 2. Ben Horn has his own Nadine moment where he wakes up from a coma, and honest to God, I shit you not, and I will give no more commentary on this. I just want to lay it out to you. You can go watch it and draw your own fucking conclusions. He wakes up believing he is the embodiment of General Robert E. Lee, and all of his friends and loved ones have to act out the end of Gone with the Wind in order for him to get back to life, back to reality. And in the words of Shannon from MILF Manor, same girl. I have no words either. I have no fucking words. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoy your holiday season. And I just had to talk about one of my favorite shows ever. If you've never watched Twin Peaks, it's 2 seasons long. You could probably watch it in a few, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. So y'all have fun. Have a great holiday season. And if you're ever in Twin Peaks, Washington, stop by the R&R. Pig out on some enormous pie. Say hi to Annie for me. We'll see y'all later. Y'all have a happy holiday. Whatever you're celebrating. Have a happy holiday. We love you.